Hello?
Hey Josh,
Hi, how's it going?
not bad yourself?
I'm doing great. Well, thank you for taking the time to do this interview. It's a tremendous honor to be able to talk about everything that you got going on lately.
Oh, thank you very much for asking for it, actually.
Yeah. Well, awesome. Well, first up, I just heard about Dark Ministry. What can you tell me about this project?
Well, it's something I've been trying to get together for a while. I used to be, well, after Exciter, I started a band called Ninth Gate, and that didn't quite work out. The members and this and that, we had a little bit of friction, so basically the band fell apart. And then when I got another band together, a couple other people together, I was going through members left, right, and center, and then I decided, well, I'm going to call the band Dark Ministry because Ninth Gate was already taken. And so I started auditioning some players, and finally got the guitarist Max Nextshredder on the guitar, and everything was working out great. And then I got Dave Tayo on guitar as well, and then Max brought in the bass player Carlo Cote, and then it took us a while. We had a singer called Psychotic, and he was really good at vocals and everything, but he just wasn't quite what we were looking for like the aggression that we were looking for. So we tried out Tyler Knapp, and he was the guy that we needed. So basically, we've been working on songs and this and that since August last year, and right now we have 14 songs together. We're working really fast. The songs are really strong. We're getting along really well, and we're hoping to get out there and play all over the world.
And how has it been with the transition from Ninth Gate to Dark Ministry? What would you say musically has changed the most from that period?
Ninth Gate was more of a progressive rock metal band. It was most of the guitaring and musical direction was done by Miles Rourke. He had some really great songs and everything, and I had Jacques Belanger, ex-singer of Exciter, singing for it. Everything was going good, but I just didn't feel like I wanted to be in a prog rock band, I guess. I was more, like, I'm more of a metal drummer, and it was a great project. We were going to get along really good, but then, like I said, there was a little bit of friction because they noticed that I wasn't too happy with the way everything was going. So when I started Dark Ministry, it was my own vision of trying to get a actual true metal band out there and do exactly what I wanted to play. So that's what we did. I basically asked these guys to come up with some songs or some riffs. Dave Tayo is more of a death metal guitarist, and Max is more of a thrash guitarist. So you can just imagine what kind of magic that basically made when you put those two together. Everything is working out great. I'd rather, like, Ninth Gate was really good. The music was great, but Dark Ministry is more my style and more my, like, it's me. Basically, that's what I wanted, and these guys are actually doing exactly what we all want. They have free reign on writing the songs. I'm basically the leader, but I don't veto everything that they need, or that is being said. It's hard to explain that. I like to have a democracy in a band, so I basically technically have the last final say, but I don't use that trump card very often at all. I've only used it maybe once or twice. The rest of the time, I let them have free reign. Like they write the songs, they write their guitar riffs, they present them to the band, and we work on them just the way they are, how they wrote it. There may be a little bit of changes here and there, but basically, it's exactly the way they wrote the songs.
And I'm glad to hear that too, being able to have a democracy in the band, because that makes for a much better atmosphere with the whole band, making sure that everybody is happy with the project they're a part of.
Yeah, it does. It actually helps out a lot. Sometimes it's hard when you have five guys together and you're going like, okay, we all like this, and there's three of us that like the song and two of us that don't. But it sometimes we have to. It's weird, but sometimes we put it to a vote. Do we want to play like this, or do we want to change it? And sometimes the majority rules. You know what I mean?
Oh, very much so. So when it comes to your drumming in Dark Ministry, how did you approach this project?
Well, I've always been a fast metal drummer. I've taken so many drum lessons when I was younger, and I took some lessons from Buddy Rich as well. So I'm schooled on all kinds of different styles of drumming and intricate parts. So when I started doing the drumming for Dark Ministry, whatever they're playing with the guitars, I decided, well, I can follow those with the bass drums or with the ride cymbal, and try to make everything stand out, be more staccato.
Yeah, and that is a great approach too. I mean, you hear that in Exciter, and I definitely hear that in Dark Ministry as well, being able to keep that in mind, and it makes the drums very interesting that way.
Oh, thank you very much.
Oh, not a problem. So, so what's the setup that you're currently using?
Basically, I use a Pearl kit. It's a custom kit, 8-ply maple shells. They have stainless steel coverings, 24-inch bass drums, 4 rack toms, and a floor tom. Let's see, 1, 2, 3. I have 5 cymbals and a ride cymbal and a China type. So basically, it's just a metal setup, I guess. It's hard. I don't know. A lot of people have seen the pictures of my drums, and I haven't really changed them since Exciter. I just brought them down in position so I can play them faster. That's all I've done.
And did you feel that was a big need to lower everything so you could hit things faster?
It's actually, you get more control when you have everything at a proper distance, proper height, proper angle. I learned that from learning big band music and this and that. Like if you have the drums in a certain angle, you don't have the right feel, you don't have the right attack, you don't have any it's not fluid anymore. So if you put the drums in a certain position that you can actually go around the set and not be winded after doing it, that's the best position to put the drums. And the cymbals, I brought them down as well, so I don't have to reach up as high anymore. It's great to be flamboyant on the drums, but I'm almost 49, so I'm playing with a bunch of guys that are in their 20s, and they're amazed at how fast I can play, and it's just because now I have everything set up the way I need to have them set up to play and not get winded or tired at all.
Yeah, and I think that's a very important thing when it comes to the drumming. I mean, being flamboyant and having that stage presence is, of course, important, but making sure that you can actually play on beats, play everything that you're supposed to, and not get winded and tired is just as important, if not more important.
Yeah, because sometimes when you're playing, like in Dark Ministry, we have 14 songs on the go right now, and they're all pretty much really fast songs, and the bass drums, I'm playing bass drums a lot faster than I did when I was in Exciter as well. So I need it. Basically, when I'm playing, we have over an hour of music right now, and when we rehearse, I go right through them, and I'm not really winded at all. Sometimes we take a break, sometimes we don't. We just play the whole songs, and then I walk off and just a little bit sweaty. That's about it. It's just like training yourself. If you run a half mile, well, then you keep pushing yourself till you can run the mile. That's all I'm doing.
Oh, and that's great to hear that too. I was curious with having the 24-inch bass drums. Did you find that much of a challenge to get the speed for the double bass with that, or did that feel natural to you playing with 24-inch?
Well, I've been playing with 24-inch bass drums since 1993, so I have them set up properly, and I also use DW9000 pedals, which I have them set up pretty well, to my liking anyway. So they're easy to play, and I put Danmar kick pads on the bass drum heads. So then it actually acts like a buffer, so you don't have the bass drum head moving as much because you're hitting like basically a hard piece of plastic as well. So it actually makes it faster. It's almost like using a 22-inch bass drum. It's just a little bit. It's a little bit more boomy, and yes, they are a little bit slower than usual than playing a 22-inch because of the resonance of the bass drum head, but I'm used to it. So when I get on 22-inch bass drum heads, some people just look at me and go, wow, how fast can you actually play? And I'm just not used to it on a 22-inch bass drum. Like, I feel like I'm sloppy. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, when you change your setup, unless you're constantly changing your setup, it's gonna mess with your playing if you're using different size shells or different cymbal setups or whatever the case is. And when you stick to something that's natural, you know what you can do and what you can improve upon as well.
Yeah, it's a lot easier when you know your own setup. Like, I usually practice when I set up the drums the way I have them now. The way I learned how to play them properly was close my eyes and try to hit everything as if I was playing like dead center of each tom. That's what I was doing. Just close my eyes, play, and hit dead center of each tom and hit the cymbals exactly where they should be. And if there was anything that was out of position and I kept missing them, I would adjust it and put it where it needs to be with my eyes closed.
Oh, that is a fantastic way to do that. I mean, it really helps build your setup so you can do it optimally. I mean, sometimes when you're on stage, you can't always see your setup, or sometimes the stage is different where you can't get that natural feel to it. But when you start doing it the way that you just described, that can make things a lot easier.
It is a lot easier. And it's, well, I learned that from Buddy Rich, because if you actually watch him play, yeah, he's flamboyant, got the big smile on his face, but a lot of things that he does, he has his eyes closed when he's playing them. Because he knows exactly where everything is on his drum set. And that's what I basically took, and I'm using that method right there.
It's a fantastic method as well. When it comes to your cymbal setup, have you felt the need to change any of the series or the types of cymbals that you're using in your setup?
I was endorsed by TRX cymbals, which are really great cymbals. I really like them. In the warehouse right now, I'm not using my TRX cymbals. I'm just using Sabians, and I'm using the TRX the TRX China and TRX hi-hats. But the cymbal setup and sizing, I'm just the kind of guy, I like to hear different sounds when I hit the cymbal. So some people just like to hear the same cymbal sound just in a different spot. Like they want to hear if they like the sound of the 18-inch crash, they may have it on both sides of their drum set, so no matter where they hit, it's the same sound. Well, I like to have different sizing of cymbals around, so they have different tones anywhere I am hitting on the cymbals on either side of the drum set.
With Dark Ministry, did you need a new sound to incorporate what you were looking for with the band, or did you already have that?
I basically had the same sound as when I was playing in Exciter. It's just more intricate. That's all I'm doing. My drums have always had a staccato sound no matter what, because it's probably because of the 8-ply maple shells and the stainless steel covering. They have a real... it's easy to mic. It's a live sound. They're boomy, but no overtones. So it's always been the same sound for me since 1993, technically.
Oh, very nice. So getting back a little bit into Dark Ministry, I had the pleasure to check out the EP that you guys have put out. The Sermon Begins, and I'm enjoying all 3 songs very much.
Thank you.
Oh, not a problem. What made you choose those 3 songs to represent the band first?
It was basically a band decision. We just kind of flipped a coin and said, okay, which songs should we learn? Should we play on the EP? We were going to play 5, but of course, we're doing this by ourselves, so money was a little tight for everybody. So we just chose 3 songs that we all felt that we all voted for. We had, at the time when we did the EP, I think we had 8 songs, if I'm correct. About 8 songs when we did the EP. But it was a hard decision. But we decided to choose the first. I would say, let's see, Killing Machine and Blood Driven were written probably about 3rd and 4th song, and the last one, Voodoo. That was made, I guess, the 2nd song that we ever wrote. So we just chose the songs that we felt really most comfortable, that we'd be able to pull off really quickly in the studio.
So,
and they are strong songs, and that's the ones that came out really well as well. So
yeah, and I definitely get that impression as well, being able to hear all 3 songs, and there's a lot of diversity that's going into those songs as well, but of course keeping the core sound of what you guys are going for. Are the other songs that didn't make the EP that will be on future releases, are they in the similar vein, or are they different?
Every song that we make sounds different. That's what's interesting about the band. Like Voodoo Sacrifice doesn't sound anything like Blood Driven. Because Voodoo Sacrifice has a lot of squeals and the snad in there, and it sounds Pantera-ish, while Blood Driven does not. We have a couple of songs that sound like death metal, almost like it's really death metal. We have a couple of songs that is just pure thrash. It just goes whatever we feel like writing, and whatever comes out, that's what we play, and that's how we write the songs. We don't use an actual specific format or anything. We just here's a riff. Okay, let's build on that. That's what we do.
And that's the best way to write songs too, when it's not formulated ahead of time. Just letting the songs progress and see how they go.
Yeah, because a lot of times we'll have the song almost finished, like 98% finished, and then all of a sudden one guy will go, this would sound good here. And then all of a sudden, just putting that part there, change the whole song, and we have to sometimes go and tweak everything else just to fit that one little section that we added.
When it comes to your style playing in Dark Ministry, did it come as a challenge at all, being able to do the different sounds and genres that are hinted at in the songs, or did it feel natural to you and a good thing to be able to experiment like that?
To me, it felt natural. Like, I'm just playing what these guys come up with. It's really cool because, like I said, they're both diverse. So Max really likes Pantera, and Dave, he's more into all these death metal, deathcore bands. Excuse me. And Carlo, he's a really great bass player. What he does on the bass, if you give him a guitar, he can reproduce everything on the guitar. So it's like he's complementing everything that the guitars are doing on bass. Like he just doesn't play straight notes like most bass players, like the root note. He doesn't do that. He plays like whenever a guitar does like a little bit of a run, he'll play the run at the same time. And he's using just fingers, like no pick or anything, just fingers alone. And so when we just write stuff, we just go at it and let the thing progress the way it should, like naturally. Whatever we come up with, sometimes we just look over and say, well, that part is really good, and then we put it in the song and go, no, it's not fitting. That sounds like something that we should work on a different song, maybe.
Oh, that is great to hear, and I love hearing that diversity in the sound and being able to see that all the guys that you're working with are so dedicated to their craft and being able to complement each other like that, just like you said with the bass matching the guitars with ease. I love hearing that.
Yeah, and our singer, he's like, I don't know how much experience he had, but I don't know if he even had any experience when he went into the studio. But when he got in there, he looked nervous, and what you heard on the EP was just a natural, just belting out just all of a sudden, and we were like, "Oh my God, that's the voice we needed right there." Tyler's an amazing singer, and he's actually a really great front man as well. Like on stage, we played two shows right up now, and he had the crowd right where he needed to be, right where they needed to be.
And speaking of that, having done 2 shows so far, how have those shows been translating the songs from the studio to a live setting?
Actually, which is really good, because just like when I was in Exciter, what you hear on the album or on the EP, let's say, these guys reproduce it almost to a T. So what you hear on the EP, okay, is exactly what you're going to hear live.
Oh,
Like, there's no changes. The solos are, like, Max will play the solos exactly the same. Dave will play the solos and the riffing exactly the same. Everything is almost to a T, exactly what you hear on the EP. That's what we're thriving for, and that's what we're achieving.
Oh, that is fantastic. When it comes to your playing live, do you add anything different from the songs in the studio and rehearsal, or do you keep them to a T as well?
Oh, I like to be a little bit flamboyant sometimes here and there. I like to add a roll here, or maybe even more of a bass drum accent there. Like, everybody will try to do something just a little bit different, but I try to make it a little bit more aggressive live, I guess.
Oh yeah.
But I make sure that the guys know exactly what the timing and everything, how everything is.
Oh yeah, and that's a great way to do it too, especially when it comes to the drums. I mean, whenever I do a live show, sometimes I like to add different fills that are still in the same timing, or do different accents, just like you were talking about, just to spice things up a little bit live to give it more of a show.
Yeah, but these guys just go with it. Some people I've actually played with, and I won't name any bands or anything like that I played with that this happened with. But as soon as I would change anything slightly, they would stop because they were like confused. They didn't know what part we're in anymore, because they're so used to basically almost like a drum machine. And I don't play like that. I play by feel.
Yeah.
It's how I'm feeling. I play differently every night, technically, because it all depends on how I'm feeling that day.
Yeah, that makes sense too. I mean, it's very important to have a natural feel to it, so it doesn't just sound like you're putting on the record live. And again, just like giving it a show and making sure that you can be inspired while you're playing as well.
Yeah, because sometimes I'll do a long ending on certain songs, with a lot of cymbal crashes or tom rolls and this and that. And sometimes I won't do it at all, but everybody is right in sync with it. It depends on how I'm feeling the song is, or how I'm feeling the crowd is going at that time.
And I would imagine that the live shows are going to take precedent right now before you guys head back into the studio, right?
We have another show coming up September 21st. We're opening up for Blaze Bailey.
Oh wow!
And in Ottawa. And we're really looking forward to it. Like, we're not the only opening band, but we're playing with Blaze Bailey that night. And right up to now, as far as we can see, that's the only show coming up right now. So we're rehearsing in the warehouse and actually writing some songs right now, and making plans to look around for a studio to start recording the full-length album.
Oh, fantastic. I'd love to see that happen within the next year or so, seeing that first full album come out and you guys taking everything by storm.
It's going to come out a lot sooner than a year, because right now we've had a couple of offers for record companies and record deals. We just have to read them over and see which one is the best that we think that we should use. And if that's the case, well, the EP will be released right away on one of those record companies. And then we'll head right into the studio and start recording the next album.
Oh, fantastic. And of course, Dark Ministry is not the only band that you're working with lately. I also see that you're working with a new band, Spiral Wheel.
Yeah, I'm all over the place lately. I'm playing in a band in Pennsylvania as well. I have 2 shows to play with them in October with, and the band's called Mind Assassin. We're playing with Trouble down in Illinois, around the Chicago area.
Nice.
And Hellstar as well. They're going to be on the bill as well. And also I'm in a band in Japan with the ex-guitarist of Sabat, Satoshi Ishida, and that band's called Spiral Wheel, which I just came back from Japan in June, and I recorded all the songs in a few hours, like for a whole album. So right now they're just doing the finishing touches on it. They have to put the vocals on. So like, I think I'm going to be extremely busy lately. And there's another band that actually wants me to work on stuff too. So I'm just trying to find the time to get everything in there.
Well, it's fantastic to see all of the work that you're doing in such different, varied bands as well, being able to show all the sides of your playing.
Yeah, so with Spiral Wheel, it's more of a traditional heavy metal band. Like in the genre of Priest, Maiden. That's what he was looking for. He wrote all the songs, and I just put the drums to what he wrote. And Mind Assassin is more of a traditional hard, heavy rock. They're metal, but they're more, as far as I can see, the way the direction is, it's more of a hard rock. And it gives me so much diversity because I'm playing on so many different styles right now, and sometimes it gets confusing because you go over, let's say I go down to Pennsylvania and it's like, okay, we're playing this song. It's like, oh yeah, I have to really slow down, and now I have all this breathing room to put drums in, and be intricate. And then I get back here and get to Dark Ministry, and it's like go at 100 miles an hour. It's really different.
No, but it's a great thing, though, because whether you're playing faster or slower, just being able to incorporate as many styles to your playing as possible and giving off ideas for new releases for all of those bands and create new ideas.
Mm-hmm. Like, if you listen on SoundCloud, you'll hear 2 songs from Mind Assassin that I'm on right now, Predator X and Gargantua, that we did. I recorded those parts almost a year ago.
Oh,
and it's out now on SoundCloud.
Oh, fantastic! I'll have to check that out as soon as we're done talking.
You'll see different style right there. The way I'm playing, it's completely different.
Oh, fantastic! So, is there anything that you haven't done musically that you want to do in the future, or do you feel like you're covering as much ground as you can right now?
At this time, I'm covering as much ground as I can, but like I said, there's another band that wants me to do the recordings and for a recording project as well, and possibly, and I don't know if it's going to really turn into a band, but for sure we're going to be doing a recording project for sure. That is also slightly different as well. It's more of a progressive thrash metal, I guess. Like there's progressive thrash, and then there's progressive heavy metal in the way the guy wrote, like the way Brian wrote everything. Technically, believe it or not, this will sound weird to anybody listening in or anything, but I would be happy to try and just go and jam with a band like the Stray Cats or something like that. I love that kind of style. Like this big band, old rock, stuff like that. And I would have a ball just playing a show or jamming with a band that wants to do something like that for a bit.
Oh yeah, I mean having that swing mentality, especially with inspirations like Buddy Rich, being able to get that style out there.
Yeah, it's like I'm not just I'm a metalhead by heart, and like true metalhead to heart. But I do listen to all kinds of other music as well. Like I'll listen to Celtic music from because of my parents. I'll listen to like I went to see the Police with one of my boys. I love all types of music basically, except for country and hip hop. But like I just don't understand those type of music personally. But I like rock, um, progressive music, swing, big band, all kinds of different styles.
Yeah, and when you keep your mind open like that, it not only helps you in your own playing, being able to come up with new ideas, but it can also just make you happier too, not just feeling monotonous with what you're listening to and just expanding your mind that way.
Yeah, because right now in Dark Ministry, there's a couple of things I'm doing on the ride cymbal. That's a swing part, and on the hi-hats as well. You have to really listen to it, especially like when the album comes out. You're going to hear it. There's some things that I'm doing on the ride cymbal that most people only do, like let's say Neil Peart will do on the ride cymbal or something like that. That ding 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 ding. I'm doing that on the ride cymbal playing in Dark Ministry. Like I'm doing all kinds of accents everywhere.
Yeah, and that's awesome. And again, that's what I loved hearing about from Dark Ministry. Just your style playing is just matches so perfectly with what the other guys in the band are achieving, and just being able to see this side of you coming out, it's very refreshing to hear.
Yeah, I'm more open. I'm free to do what I wish. I'm not held back anymore. It's just play the way I feel like like the song should be played. Sometimes they'll make suggestions on what they would like to hear, but ultimately it's my decision on what should be played on the drums. Just like it's their decision what the guitars and bass line should be and the vocal lines.
Yeah, and that's again a great way to approach it. Well,
Like I don't write any of the lyrics. I let Tyler do all the lyrics. Sometimes Dave will help him out, but Tyler's a great lyricist, and we just let him go at it. And sometimes we make fun of the name of the song, so that sometimes is a challenge in a way, because we'll name the song one thing, and then 3 months later go, that name didn't work, so we'll change the name, and then everybody's going, okay, let's play the song, and we're like, what song is that again? Oh yeah, it's that one. All right. So we have a good time sometimes, and we put some stupid names to the songs at first until we have the complete lyrics down. So we have fun at the same time that we're playing.
yeah, and that's an important aspect of it as well. You got to be happy with the music that you're creating, and be happy with everyone that you're working with.
Yeah, because we don't go in there and go, okay, we're going to write this song, here it is, and we're going to call it, thrash till death right now, and then work on that. It's, okay, here's the way the song is going musically. Let's put the lyrics to the way the song is to see how it actually turns out, and then we'll name the song from there.
Oh, awesome. Well, once again, thank you for taking the time to do this interview. It was a tremendous honor to be able to sit down with you this long and be able to discuss everything that you're up to lately. And before we're done here, is there anything else that you'd like to mention that I haven't brought up yet?
No, not really. I'm just, like I said, really busy. Heather Williams is doing really well for managing both Dark Ministry, and now she's taking care of Spiral Wheel as well. She's doing some promotion for all the bands I'm in. The bands are... I get along with every member of each band that I'm in, which is quite surprising and a relief, actually, because, flying all the way down to Japan, you're hoping, are we going to get along? And everything worked out great. Going down to Pennsylvania, it's a long drive just to find out if you don't get along with anybody, but we get along great. And Dark Ministry, Yes, they are a lot younger than I am, but they don't treat me like the old man. Like they just play along and we have a great time. But other than that, I don't really have very much more to say except for anybody that's out there being a drummer. Just play what you want to play. Let everything flow the way it should come out naturally. And if I can make one suggestion, try not to have an ego, because no matter how good you think you are, there's always somebody better that's sitting in their basement that's never got anywhere.